Okay, everybody, fair warning. You're going to be really upset by the end of this report. Consider yourselves warned. Even by the bottom of the barrel standards of the Trump administration, this story is terrible. Welcome back to Occupy Democrats. I'm David Reddish. So much of this week's news cycle has been dominated by the revelation that someone within the Trump administration added journalist Jeffrey Goldberg to a group chat on the app Signal. Of course, within that group chat were the plans for military airstrikes on Houthi rebels in Yemen. Given that the chat also included J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, Tulsi Gabbard, and Pete Hegseth, along with more than a dozen others, public and congressional outcry has been swift. Yet, as the scandal broke, let's look at what Donald Trump himself had to say on the matter. Did you catch this?
Your reaction to the story in The Atlantic that said that some of your top cabinet officials and aides had been discussing very sensitive material through Signal and included an Atlantic reporter for that. What is your response to that?
I don't know anything about it. I'm not a big fan of The Atlantic. To me, it's a magazine that's going out of business. I think it's not much of a magazine, but I know nothing about it. You're saying that they had what?
They were using Signal to coordinate on sensitive materials and
having to do with what? Having to do with what? What were they talking about?
With the Houthis.
The Houthis? You mean the attack on the Houthis?
Right.
Well, it couldn't have been very effective because the attack was very effective. I can tell you that. I don't know anything about it. You're telling me about it for the first time. Anybody else?
Amazingly, for all the craziness surrounding the story, including questions regarding Hegseth's sobriety, the outing of a CIA spy in the group chat, and the possibility that Tulsi Gabbard perjured herself in front of Congress, when pressed on the issue in the Oval Office earlier today, this is what Trump had to say about the situation.
Should Secretary Hegseth consider his position over the Signal?
Hegseth is doing a great job. He had nothing to do with this. Hegseth. How do you bring Hegseth into it? He had nothing to do. Look, it's all a witch hunt. Here we are talking about some of the greatest business deals ever made. The greatest companies in the world are moving into the United States, and you want to ask about whether or not Signal works. I don't know that Signal works. I think Signal could be defective, to be honest with you. And I think that's what we have to, because you use Signal, and we use Signal, and everybody uses Signal, but it could be a defective platform, and we're going to have to find that out.
No, why would Pete Hegseth have anything to do with this, right? Forget that he's the one responsible for coordinating the attack, and that he's already given a litany of conflicting answers about the chat, going so far at times to claim that it didn't even exist. For more information, check out our other videos here on the channel. For all the crazy regarding a military operation, why would the Secretary of Defense be involved, right? And no, Donald, he's not doing a good job. More on that in a moment. With Signalgate dominating the headlines, one other key military bit of news has gone overlooked. Earlier today, the Secretary General of NATO reported that 4 U.S. soldiers went missing while on a training mission near the Lithuania-Belarus border. Now, earlier reports specified that the 4 soldiers had been found dead. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte has since clarified his comments this afternoon. The soldiers are not confirmed dead, not via NATO and not via the U.S. military. Their armored craft, however, was found submerged in a body of water. The 4 soldiers have yet to be identified publicly and were on a tactical training mission near the city of Vilnius in Lithuania when they disappeared. Search and recovery efforts remain ongoing at the time of this report. Secretary General Rutte sent his thoughts and prayers to the families of the soldiers, and we here at Occupy Democrats do the same. Now, given the crisis this week, you'd think that Trump and Hegseth might use this moment as an opportunity to show leadership and to recapture the country's morale with the search. When asked to comment on the situation, Trump had this to say. And by the way, this was in the same Oval Office press conference where he dismissed Hegseth's involvement in the Signal chat scandal earlier. Take a look.
But it could be a defective platform, and we're going to have to find that out.
Have you been briefed about soldiers in Lithuania?
Say it?
Have you been briefed about the soldiers in Lithuania who are missing?
No, I haven't.
He doesn't know. He doesn't even know, and it doesn't seem like he's really concerned. What did he call soldiers who fall in battle suckers and losers? Wasn't that it? Isn't this the same man who referred to John McCain as a loser because he was held captive and tortured by the enemy in the Vietnam War? Does he not, care about our troops? Isn't that part of his job? He's completely dismissive of this. And where, for that matter, where the hell is Pete Hegseth? He's been hiding out for the past couple of days since this signal gate broke, probably with a bottle of booze in hand. He's made only occasional public appearances or comments about the mess. Shouldn't he have at least released a statement by now? Shouldn't he have conferred with NATO and the families of the soldiers? What the hell is the matter with these people? This is just another in an ever-growing list of reasons to get Pete Hegseth out of there. The man needs to go. He needs to go as bad as when he's been drunk all day. In all seriousness, this is a total abdication of responsibility, and it's despicable. If Hegseth can't even do the easy parts of his job, like keeping war plans secret or showing military leadership in a crisis, how can we expect him to be reliable in an actual emergency? No, Donald, Hegseth isn't doing a good job. And if you want to know how your administration can improve on that right now, show him the door. I'm David Reddish.